The daffodil is a really fun flower to draw, and it's one of the first flowers of spring. So the basic shapes of the daffodil, the petal is going to come out kind of like a spade shape. So you want to remember this shape here, and it has a tube in the middle. My cat's coming to say hi. She thinks I'm talking to her. Ooh, sweetheart. If we want to do a tulip, sweetie, can I help you? If we want to do a tulip facing forward, we're going to make the tube this way. And if we want to do the tube facing sideways, we're going to do it like this. Okay, so let's do both of them. We'll start with the tube of the tulip facing forward, and it's kind of roughly around like this. Okay, and then as it goes in, we're going to make these little marks here that kind of show that it curves in, and it makes this little tube on the inside, and it gets darker down in there. It also has these stamens that kind of come out, so let's put those in there. And then I'm actually going to mark this with a pencil because we'll want to erase that later. But you're going to mark, it has 6 petals. This is the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. This is the center. And we're going to make our spade shape like what we did here. So our tulips are gonna, have I been saying tulips? Daffodil. Daffodil, daffodil, whoa. I found my coffee this morning. I had not drank all of it, so let's blame that. Okay. So we've got this spade shape here. Got my, if you're doing this in pencil, obviously you can go back. Doing it in pen, so you can see what I'm doing with the daffodil. That was a little bit long. So here we've got it. We've got our little ruffle. I'm gonna make that a little bit darker. There's our tube. Also, I'm going to make that a little darker there. And then tulips have these kind of wonderfully ruffly leaves, which we can, petals. We can make these little lines. If you're doing this in pen, you are going to want to do these lines, and it's always pointing back towards the center of the flower. Okay, so this is our basic petal here, basic flower shape. It's pointing right at you, it's looking right at you. Okay, and then tulips, they have a long tubular kind of stem, and then their leaves come up like this. They're pretty thin, like this, and then you can add a little ruffle like this. See how it kind of wraps around? So this would be the inside, and this is the outside of the leaf, and you can make the little veins going up and down. Really easy, like this. Okay, and then add that extra bit there. And up and down. So this is the shape of one looking at you. Okay, we're gonna do one looking away. Daffodil, daffodil. So again, we're going to do this round bit, but we're going to make it a little bit ruffly like this, and we're going to do a little ovally oval. And then we're going to add that little tube down here, and we're going to make this little mark right here that shows that it kind of makes it the tube. And then got our little stamens here. Now this is going to come down a little ways, and it's going to kind of curve like this. Again, we're going to make these spade petals. You may or may not, because it's pointing away, be able to see all of the petals. Okay, so these on the back side are going to be a little bit shorter, and you might actually want to, this one here is probably, you can only see a little bit of it. Okay, so now it is looking away, looking to the side. Same thing here. And we've got our tulip. I keep calling them tulips. What's wrong with me? Daffodil. We've got our daffodil. Okay, and then you can just do these lines. Okay, so I have my sketch here. I've done it as lightly as I can, but I'm going to show you a trick. I use this kneaded eraser here, and I roll it along my sketch like this, and it actually picks up. I found this, I don't know, this is the best way that I've found to lighten up a sketch without smudging it everywhere or getting dust, I don't know. So I just roll it along here until I can see it still, but a good portion of that graphite is picked up. Some people do this, which works. I just find this is faster and more efficient. Plus you get to make a little snake out of your eraser. Okay, so now that I've erased that, stick that on there. I am going to start with my absolute lightest colors here. Oh, I didn't wet these. Okay. My palette's dirty. I'm a chaotic person sometimes. Okay, so I'm gonna get a really, really light color, really light yellow. Just over here. Because the outside of tulips a lot of times are lighter than the inside of the tulips, and I don't want to go in too heavy. Tulips! What the heck? I'm going to go with a really light color because the outside of daffodils are a lot of times lighter than the inside. So it's really, really light. Barely any water. I'm going to start defining, I mean, I don't even know if you can see that. Some of these. Barely. I'm going to go pick up some of this pigment. Just like yellow water. That's what we want. Then I'm gonna, while that's drying, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start establishing some of where I have some of my leaves here. And I'm gonna remember to leave some white space. Got some of this yellow on my brush, which is giving it just this really pretty, bright springy green here. This leaf in. Again, missing a stem. I don't mind if some of that green mixes in. Doesn't bother me. Okay, let's make sure we've got all our stems here. Put this stem coming in down like this here. That one's back behind there. Oh no, that one's there. There. That's what we're missing. And that one. Okay. Got all our stems. And the insides of each of these circles is going to be a darker, kind of richer color. So I'm gonna start there and I'm gonna work out. Actually, I'm going to put the water in. That's too wet. And then I'm going to put the color in. Just like that. Again here, I'm going to put the water in. Picking up if it, oh, there's my brush. And I'm going to set that in the middle. I'm going to try to do a little slightly different color of yellow for each one of these, or orange or whatever, however. Also, I'm just using a mixed media paper because this is just a practice session. I'm not planning on doing anything with this other than practice painting daffodils. A little water in the middle there. Boop. Right in the middle. And then we're going to let this dry. Okay, we're back. This area is not really all that dry yet, but I'm going to move on and we're going to work on this section. So I'm going to get a little bit of a darker green here. Mix it with this yellow because I can. I'm a chaotic painter as well because I just mix whatever I feel like. See what happens. Okay. Ooh, what a pretty green. Okay, yes, this is perfect. So I'm going to do the bottoms of these stems, the underneath the flowers here. And get these going. These are kind of darker in here because they're shadowed by the flowers. I'm going to I just have water on my brush and I'm just dragging this color down so it kind of slowly, I'm not sure what's happening there. I might have to turn that into a leaf. Okay, I'm just dragging this down a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to define this outer edge of the leaf here. Ooh, I drank my coffee, now my hand is crazy. Not sure what's happening with this leaf, but that's okay. Whoa, look at this. Some craziness here. I don't have super steady hands. I never have. I never will. And then I drink coffee and it makes it worse. So I have to really limit how much I drink. I'm trying to get some different variations of green in here to define what's happening. We're here, down below on these stems. I want some yellow too. And then maybe some green pulled down. All right. Yeah, see? In my hand. It's got a mind of its own. That's okay. All right. I'm going to start defining some of these petals. Let's see. It's pretty bright. Actually, yeah. A little bit. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's hard to ignore that, but I'm going to. If you get a hair, I have pets, so I always get hair in my paintings. Leave it, and then when it's dry, you can brush that right off. Okay, so I'm defining these petals now. I'm going to make this one a little bit darker. Some of these I'm going to leave really light, but this one I think because it's down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we've got a mutant daffodil. So I ended up with an extra petal. That's okay. No worries. Look at this. It's so... Alright, changing brushes. And you know, I kind of have this feeling that I want to get this little, I just want to add this touch of pink in here for some reason. Whew, this remote learning stuff is not for the faint of heart. Let me tell you. But I'm back. Okay, I'm going to make this one a little bit darker here in the middle. This is that tube. This one as well. Okay. I think I'm going to leave this one lighter. I'm gonna put, let's see, what do I want to do? I'm gonna put the color at the tip here, and then I'm gonna just get some water and drag it kind of down in and just let that move down. Yeah, like that. It's pretty bright yellow. Again, I'm gonna make sure 1, 2, 3. Sticking with my and put some water here and let that color mix up the petals. And we will continue to define what is happening here with color but also kind of like here with this little extra petal. I don't think I drew that in. 1, 2, 3, maybe I did. With this extra petal here, if something shows up, we're just gonna go with it and make the best of it. I'm not married to this sketch. If something interesting happens while I'm painting, I will take it. Okay, so I'm gonna define this tube part of this daffodil, not tube. Okay. Same with this guy here. Let's see what can we do here. All right, these are not going to be scientific renditions of a daffodil, but I want you to be able to look at it and know, yes, that is in fact a daffodil. Trying to get some of the key features in here. Adding color. I should probably let it dry at this point. Yes. Okay. I need to let that top dry before I just muck it all up. This is dried down here though, so I'm going to go in and again, I'm going to redefine what's happening down here. I'm adding a little bit of this blue here to this green, and I'm going to, we're going to just make sure we know what's happening. So this is the front edge of this leaf here. I've decided that this is where the front edge of the leaf is. And now I'm gonna just, ooh, that's so much water. Soften this line. What comes along here? This leaf keeps getting longer and longer. And I want this leaf to be folded, so I'm going to make this edge here, this section, be a little bit darker. We've got a bit of a fold happening. There's the edge of that. Right here. And a hand. Same with this one. I want this fold to be right there. So I'm going to darken it on this side. We know that that's what's happening. This line, this stem here, and this one, we need to decide what's going in front and what's going behind, and I think that these stems are now turning into a leaf because they got all merged and weird. So we're just gonna redefine that. I'm gonna bring this dark line down as carefully as I can so we can see that that is a stem there, and I'm also going to just very lightly darken up the edge of that leaf. Now I really need to stop messing with it, so I'm going to pause the video again and let this dry. This is all mostly dry here. So I am going to now very carefully put in some of my final details to help strengthen what's going on this page. Okay, so like that. I'm going to darken up the inside of these. I'm actually going to add a little bit of purple to make this kind of dark. The only reason I'm doing that is because that purple was already on my palette. So I've got those dark circles in there. I think I'm going to use this color here. To start giving some of this definition to some of these petals. This is a dangerous territory for me. This is where I overwork them every time. Every time. I really like that kind of loose feel, and yet I start adding too many details because I just can't stop. Right now I am redefining the edges of some of these petals. This guy's up here is a mess. Alright, what can we do about that? I think what's going on is in this bottom section here. Need a little more definition. Same with down here so we can see that this is the tube part and not that part of the petal. The cat hair. This one. I don't want to forget, in the middle of tulips, why am I saying tulips? Daffodils. Oh, great. What's going on with me? Okay, here. So this one here. Daffodil, daffodil, daffodil. That's what it is. This one here. Yeah. The nice thing about daffodils is they do come in such a wide variety of colors that anything I'm painting here could happen. making the tips here so we can see what's happening. All right. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to pick this guy. Nope. Ah, yes. Okay. So now I'm going to do what every watercolorist says not to do and use white. But I have a reasoning for this. It's because I don't care. Oh my gosh. I didn't let that dry. Okay. So now I'm going to take my very teeny tiny brush, 0, and we are going to add in these very teeny tiny details. It's not quite dry. I should probably let it dry more. We're going to clean up our edges here. With this teeny tiny one. I'm never going to be able to do really, really clean lines, but this little tiny brush does help. Okay. This edge here, I think I'm actually going to add some purple to this green, and we're going to bring it down a little bit. I just want to mute this color. Green. This purple. Not everything in nature is super duper vibrant as much as I want it to be. go, oop, I'm going to go in and add my extra darks. Extra dark. All right, I gotta be done. All right, so there's our daffodils. Not tulips, these are daffodils. In our sketchbook, as we learn about the shape of the daffodil.